Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again doing another discography countdown. Today we are going to be talking about Falls of Rauros. So if you're not familiar with this band, they play a very unique blend of black and folk metal, or you could say like neo-folk mixed with atmospheric black metal. Really, like, all their themes are based around nature, a lot of acoustics interspersed with the black metal. Some similar bands, if you haven't heard these guys before, if you're into anything like Agalloch or Alda, Panopticon, Fen, anything in that general broad like scope of atmospheric folky black metal, then I'm sure you will get some enjoyment out of Falls of Rauros. They get labeled as like Cascadian black metal. They are from Portland in the USA, same place as Agalloch, so the comparisons, obviously, that makes sense. The name Falls of Rauros is after a waterfall in Lord of the Rings, and this is just a band that truly like creates these excellent atmospheres with their sound. Something you can just like envision. It's perfect for like going going hiking in the wilderness, or just drifting off under the stars. If you want to listen to this music, it would be absolutely perfect for that. They did actually just release a brand new album today, this Friday. And yeah, I'm including that in my discography ranking. The stream of this album did come out on Wednesday, so I've listened to it a few times over the last few days. My placement of the brand new album may change in time as I listen to it even more, but my first impressions are very strong, so I'll give you kind of a mini review when I get to that album in the discography ranking. But they do have 6 full-length albums, so I'll go through them from my least favorite down to my favorite. But I will also say that I really like all of these albums. There's no weak moments. Something's going to have to come in last just because, but that will be for the reason that I like the other ones better, not because it's bad. I actually truly enjoy all of these albums. Other than their 6 full lengths, they did also have a demo, Into the Archaic. So I'm not including that here because it is technically just a demo, but it's definitely worth checking out. Still very solid. It's basically the length of a full length, but with it being categorized as a demo, I'm not including it. So anyways, before I ramble on too long, let's get into this. So coming in 6th, what I will say as my least favorite Falls of Rauros album, although I do still very much enjoy it, is from 2019, the album Patterns in Mythology. So this one, yeah, I do still really enjoy it. There's a lot of ebbs and flows throughout this album. It's very emotional, I find. Like, they did a few different things here, too, with the vocals. There's even some clean vocals in spots. I do find that the guitar melodies really shine here. It's really got this nice, like, shimmering tone to the guitar throughout the album. And there's really nice leads sprinkled throughout as well. Like, all in all, this is a very beautiful album. The only reason I'm putting it 6th is that, in my opinion, it's maybe just not as memorable as some of the other albums that they've done. It doesn't quite stand out as much as some other stuff, but I do still really enjoy it. Best songs on here: New Inertia, Weapons of Refusal. Like, all in all, just because I'm putting it last, you should definitely still go check this out. I like all these albums, but let's move on to even better stuff. So up next, coming in 5th, at least for the time being, I'm going with the brand new one that just came out today, Key to a Vanishing Future. So like I said, I have only listened to this a few times in the last couple days, so this is based solely on my first few spins of this album. This could go up in the ranking as time goes on. I don't think it'll go down. My first impressions are I think I like it a little more than Patterns in Mythology, but maybe it'll climb even higher as I get more listens on this. So a mini review of this, I do find compared to their past albums, the like rock and folk influences are a little bit more at the forefront on this album. Still, like, always with that groundwork, like the bass line of black metal built as the foundation, but they're kind of throwing in all these additional influences over the top. So this would be a hard album to even categorize as black metal. There's still those elements in there, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. And the overall feel of this album is just like majestic. That is the best word that I can think to describe this album. It's just really got a beautiful feeling throughout. The flow of the album is excellent. Like, the approach as a whole is probably a little bit softer than their early works, not as aggressive, but the songwriting is really great. And like I said, from song to song, it really flows really beautifully, and it's just got an overall majestic feel throughout the whole thing. So favorite tracks on here: Clarity was one of the pre-release tracks, absolutely awesome. Known World Narrows is one of the standouts to me on my first few listens, and Poverty Hymn is also awesome. So all in all, definitely a very solid album. I'm sure you will see it on my albums of the month list. We'll see how high. But yeah, for right now, it is coming in 5th place on this ranking. Up next at number 4, my 4th favorite Falls of Rauros album is from 2017, Vigilance Perennial. So this one, yeah, it really builds on the foundation of their sound that they established with their first 3 albums. This is their 4th album. It's got a very like rustic soundscape, and there's so much melody going on in these songs, even amongst the chaos of the more like black metal parts. It's still got this really great melodic undertone, and there's these really gorgeous acoustics woven in. They're one of the best at doing this, just really incorporating these beautiful acoustic passages. Very similar, yeah, to a band like Alda. They do it so well as well. But yeah, this has got some really nice like mellow moments, and then interplayed with some harsh blasting as well. Just really solid stuff. I really liked this album a lot when it came out, and I still enjoy it quite a bit. Favorite tracks on here, White Granite, Arrow and Kiln is probably my favorite track on the album, but all in all, very solid stuff. That's why I say at number 4. Now into the top 3, their first 3 albums, but let's see which order I've got them in. So coming in 3rd, I'm going with the debut from 2008, Hail, Wind, and Hone Oak. So this one, yeah, it's for a debut, absolutely awesome. It's very like experimental, modern take on black metal, really fusing a bunch of acoustics and folk elements with the more typical tremolo riffing and rasping vocals. Once again, beautiful acoustic passages with great melodies. And yeah, the harsh black metal vocals is what gives it that more aggressive edge. And there's still, yeah, some blast beats and like harsher tremolo riffing to give it that black metal feeling. This is definitely one of their more aggressive albums, but there's still a ton of acoustics and ton of like neo-folk influence in there as well. Favorite tracks on here, The Fire We Fathered is like a 12-minute epic, absolutely awesome. Of Stone and Stars in the Sky, To Witness Existence. Like all in all, I love this whole album front to back. Really solid stuff. Almost wanted to put it higher than 3, but I think the next 2 I'm going to talk about edge it out like a hair. So up next, coming in at number 2, I'm going with their 3rd album, which is from 2014, Believe in No Coming Shore. So this one, oh, this album is just great. It like perfectly evokes the feeling of being lost in like these foggy, barren landscapes. They didn't drastically alter the sound from the first 2 albums, but there is still some, like a few slight changes here and there. The production definitely improved compared to the first 2 albums. Really creates this really gorgeous atmosphere, and it's just executed very well. They started to bring in even like some blues-driven riffs here on this album, and once again, just really nice leads sprinkled in there as well. All in all, a very solid album. Favorite songs on here, Ancestors of Shadow, Ancestors of Smoke. My favorite song on the album is probably Spectral Eyes. So all in all, very solid stuff. If you haven't heard it, strongly suggest you go do that. But then that leaves one album to rule them all. My favorite Falls of Rauros album is their sophomore album from 2011, The Light That Dwells in Rotten Wood. So this one was actually my introduction to the band, the first album I ever heard by them. So maybe that's why it's like resonated with me more over a longer period of time. I hold this one more of a special place in my heart because it was what introduced me to the band, and it's probably the album I've listened to the most, also the one I go back to the most. The songwriting on here is just really on display. It's like it's full of sorrow, but it's beautiful at the same time. And so once again, just so much underlying melody. These songs flow seamlessly together. There's like 3 instrumental tracks and then 3 longer tracks, but it's just packed full of melancholic, folky acoustic passages throughout the whole thing. And it's just executed so well. I absolutely love this album. Easily my favorite Falls of Rauros album. Best songs on here are Banished, Awaiting the Fire or Flood That Awaits It, Silence. But once again, like those are the longer tracks, the not acoustic, but the instrumental like interludes that are interspersed between these songs are absolutely amazing too. It's an album that's best suited to be listened to front to back as one piece. Don't really pick out individual songs here. You want to listen to the whole album. Anyways, these are just my opinions as usual. I'd love to get your thoughts down below. What's your favorite Falls of Rauros album? What did you think of the brand new one that was just released today? If you haven't listened to it yet, definitely go do that as well. And anyways, yeah, love to get some comments down below. Let's get some discussions going. But until next time, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Hammer Heart Metal Reviews out.